friends. Welcome to Sky House Herbs podcast. I'm Ashley Elenbaas, a clinical herbalist, and in this space, I share my knowledge and experience with plant medicine to help you on your own journey of healing and transformation. Join me in exploring the ancient wisdom of plant spirit medicine and how it can be used to heal the body, mind, and spirit. We'll talk to experts in the field and share stories from people who've been transformed by powerful plant allies. New episodes are released each Monday, so please subscribe. And now, let's explore this mystical world of plant medicine together. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. Our Gentle Fridays are an opportunity for us to sit together, breathe together, to check in, to talk about the different self-care practices that we're employing that's helping us. And my hope is that as a community, as we share how we're feeling and what's helping, that we can get more ideas and generate more options for us for living and navigating in a very crazy world. And it's always been crazy, but it feels particularly like the volume's turned up quite a bit over these last few months. So we need each other, and we need spaces like this to co-regulate our nervous systems so that we can be around people who are consciously also trying to keep their nervous systems in a steady place, because, we are pack animals. And if we can gather and regulate as a pack, it's a lot easier than trying to do it on our own. So that is also a big reason why I wanted to create these spaces for us. We'll begin with a centering, and you can close your eyes or you can keep your eyes open, but let's just take maybe a minute and a half to be in our bodies and to breathe. And if you have your hands free, you can even take one hand to your belly and one hand to your heart. This is a nice way to just touch our bodies in a loving way. So if you'd like to join me, let's start to breathe in and out through the nose and tap in and feel your body. And notice how the very act of observing your body changes it. It's very common that when we notice our breath and notice our bodies, that we relax. So see if you can feel that happening in your own system. You're doing a great job, just a little bit longer. And see if you can find some words that describe how you're feeling right now. What are some qualities that are present in your mind, body, or heart? Let the words popcorn to the surface. And then let's all take a deep breath in through the nose. Big exhale through the mouth. Good. And then you can open your eyes, take a stretch. Ah. All right. Got my chai tea. So good. So let's open up the circle for sharing. I know a few people joined while we were in our quiet space, and the centering space just helps us regulate our nervous systems, right? And helps us to find that co-regulation, that bringing down the heart rate, slowing down the breath, and connecting with the group that we're in. And at this moment, this is the time in our Gentle Fridays where I like to ask you to share 3 words that describe how you're doing. How are you feeling? And maybe those were 3 words that came up when we were sitting, or maybe there's 3 words that you're just aware of, that maybe they've been with you for a few days. So if you wouldn't mind in the chat box, let's just write those. What are those 3 words or phrases that are most present for you right now? Oh, these are great ones. I can't wait to. So I'll read them all aloud in just a minute. All right. So keep writing if you're writing, and I'm just going to read through um, what we've shared so far. So Geraldine says, tired and exhausted, accomplished, happy I got some new plants and herbs. Isn't that nice? It's like Christmas. It's like new babies. So that is exciting. Freya is in season, so she's resting and getting extra care for the next few weeks. Yeah, so she's in heat. Her sap is rising too. Yeah. Masha is feeling trippy, concerned, lethargic. Oh, those are interesting. Yeah, you'll have to share more about that in a bit. Darcy is joyful and surgery residuals. Yeah, so your energy's lifted, but you're also processing surgery. That is a lot. Surgery takes a lot, doesn't it? Kate is also joyful, unknowing, and easy. Unknowing and easy. That's a good combo. Plus joy, right? Rachel's feeling watery, present, and listening. And Rachel, we're going to talk about water in the intro because that's a great word for exploring today. So thank you, Rachel. I am feeling calm, anticipating, and sleepy. Miriam is agitated, excited, and grateful. Yeah, lots to be agitated by, my honey. Cheryl, rising grateful green. Green is, yeah. So we're going to talk about water and green today. Anna's feeling heavy, deep, and connected. Oh, you sound like you're in the mycelium. You're in the network below. Beautiful. Jenna is feeling plastic, liminal, cautiously hopeful. Yeah, plastic is moldable, isn't it? It can shape shift. So you're shape shifting in that liminal space. And yeah, hope is a good thing to have in those spaces, isn't it? Yeah, Amanda's feeling lonely, anxious, and hopeful. Yeah. Lynn is relaxed, wary, vulnerable, sensitive. Yeah, this is a seasonal time too, where the word raw might hit for you as well. Geraldine, emotionally exhausted, grateful. Mal, little better today. Nice, right? Like little better today. That's enough, isn't it? Anastasia, grateful, excited, and uncertain. Yeah, a lot of that. Alexander, apprehensive and excited and gracious. Beautiful. Joyous, painful, hopeful, and resting. Yeah. Yeah. Pain and hope for relief is those can be held together. Ren said, like, I should be cleaning. You're feeling the spring cleaning vibes. All right. Great. Well, thank you everyone for sharing what's on your mind and heart and what you're carrying today. And I always like to point out that isn't it amazing that we can carry opposites? We can carry things that seem like they shouldn't exist together, yet here we are holding them. And I think that if we can always remember that that speaks to our own resilience, it can help us bear it as long as those feelings need to be carried. I wanted to talk for a minute about this moment seasonally because it is a moment of conflicts and it's a moment of transition. And this will also lead us into the reading that I have for us today. So I'll share a little bit about the seasonal moment, then I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, and then we'll go into the reading. Okay. So the seasonal moment that we're in the Chinese calendar, where they have the five element system, is we're between the season of winter, which is the element of water, and the season of spring, which is the element of wood. So water and winter is about resting. It's about replenishment, feeding the deep stores of energy that have been depleted throughout the more active or solar part of the year. And so in the water season, we go deep, we get reflective, like we look at the surface of a frozen lake or still water. It reflects back to us what we are. And so the more still the water, the clearer the image. And in wintertime, the Chinese believe you have to have more stillness so that you can clearly see what is there and create the environment, that wet environment for the wood to start to sprout up in the spring. Now, the element of wood is about activity and growth. It's uprising, uplifted energy. It's the sap rising. And so, right here on February 27th, we're neither in full winter and we're neither in spring. We're in deep winter, early spring. So we're at the intersection of those two places. And so there can feel this deep tiredness. And I am like bone tired. Like I've been getting sleep, but I'm tired. I'm just tired. And I don't think I like being honest about that. I think I'd rather say that's not right. So therefore it's not true. But if I get really honest, that's actually also reflected in the season, is that there should be a quality of tiredness because we're not ready. We don't have the energy to lift off into what's next. The heat of the sun, the angle of the light is not there yet. So there are little inklings of what's coming. You know, maybe the snowdrops are up where you live, or maybe you have some of those little narcissus. You know, maybe there's signs, buds on the trees, but it's not time yet. So we're in that liminal space. And what do we do? How do we bear this discomfort between wanting to be finished with something and wanting to go to the next thing when this thing isn't finished and this thing isn't ready? Do you feel that? Does anyone else feel that? So this is where, as my daughters learn in school, you have to put on your patience hat. We all have a hat. Maybe it's somewhere in the back of the closet, but it's our patience hat. So we have to put on the patience hat and move more slowly, more deliberately. And right now, we should be planning the steps of action, but not performing the action. So I like that you said, Ren, that you want to be cleaning. This is a really good moment for that, where you're letting go and clearing, kind of pruning what's dead, what might be holding the energy back. And then you don't fill that space. You just let it be spacious for a while until the moment where the thing naturally arises. And that's really hard for a lot of us, is to wear the patient hat and to let ourselves be uncomfortable in that in-between space. So does anyone want to share on that note or add to that? You can unmute yourself or raise your hand. You can also just type in the chat box. Let's see. We've got a few hands. Okay, Masha.
It's thank you, by the way, for having this space. And the words of patience and the watery in between. Um, it's been reflected in my body, uh, very literally, with my menstruation, which is like 10, 11 days overdue now. And I have regularly suffered with extremely irregular periods, but over the past 2 years, I've done a lot of healing work around that with PCOS and all of this. And I'm actually thinking about Vision Quest. In 2024, um, I did Vision Quest in March, and February of that year was a full moon. My period started, but then it stopped. And then it waited until the third day, the day of power of my Vision Quest to come. And that was when I learned that my body is directly responding to and communicating with me this interface of the cosmos. Um,
Mm.
but it's been really weird and trippy because this space in my meditations too has been uh like eternal. I'll be sitting in the 20-minute meditations in the morning with Adam, and they feel like eternity. I'm not concerned about it. It's not like unnerving. I'm not sitting there like impatient, but it's just like the 20 minutes passed and it felt like days in my mind and being like suspended. Um, so it's a little concerning too, because there's that urge and desire to like move, but I have to force myself to be really slow because I'm also getting sciatic pain and I'm in the luteal phase and like my body is asking me to be slow. Um, and in the past, I've used plant medicines like cannabis and mushrooms to really be in my luteal phase, and that always initiates a menstrual cycle, which has been interesting. But this time, I feel called to not do that. So I don't know. I don't want to take up too much time. Those are just some of the things that came up.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And yeah, that eternity is the liminal. It's in some ways more real than what our senses perceive. And it's challenging to know what do we do about that. And I think, I mean, I don't know the ultimate answer of anything, but it seems like we notice that and then we chop wood, carry water, and do what's needed, and do our dharma. But I love that you're paying attention to that and you're noticing, oh, that phase felt like it needed this, but now this phase needs something different. And not taking substances does create more clarity. It does create more clarity so that the water can be still. So I'm curious, maybe, next week you can share kind of what was it like to have a clear luteal time, rather than adding things to it, just, as a contrast. So thank you, Masha. Anastasia.
Hi, Ashley. Yeah, thank you for this space. This is really exciting. A little witchy gathering. I want to, I guess, echo the liminality experience. I'm up in Seattle, and so over the last like month, we're in this time where every day the light is growing and it's like noticeable because we're coming out of the darkest, gloomiest days. So there's a part of me that's like, ooh, anticipating the spring and like the return of energy. And I look out in my garden and I see the daffodils like just starting to emerge, but they're not open yet. So there's a little bit of almost like an anxious, like I just want to move things along experience. And my habit is just as you and Masha said, is like find a way to move through that discomfort or get myself busy. And so one of the things that I'm just trying to practice is just staying in my body and sitting with the discomfort and the uncertainty. Like there's a lot of uncertainty happening in my mind about the world and just personal things in life. And just catching myself in this reflex of like I want to move out of it or like solve things and pausing and just kind of like welcoming and embracing the discomfort.
Yeah.
So that's, yeah, that's what's happening
Thank
with
you.
me.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, especially when you see the we're in Minnesota, so we have like no sign. We still have like a foot of snow, but that moment when you start to see the green popping, it stirs us, especially as
Yeah.
plant people. And I can see you're a plant person because you've got beautiful plants behind you.
Or a son. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so that it does it invokes us. But as a yoga teacher, been teaching yoga for 25 years, and the place that students always get injured is in the transitions, right? So when you're moving from one pose to another pose, that it's not holding warrior where you get injured. It's in the transition. And so kind of, it's how do we move slowly, more slowly than we think we need to, and staying with the discomfort of the liminality just a little longer every year, maybe. So Anastasia, I love that you shared that, and you're staying in your body, because that's such an important part of this practice too. So thank you. Kate.
Hello. I've also been doing the morning meditation, and that's been really incredible. I had like a meditation practice, but it was much more like, let me listen to this 10-minute chanty meditation, like a guided meditation, which is so different than not just silence, but collective silence. And the sort of allowance that you allow yourself so much more, where if you're alone sitting in silence for 20 minutes, you're like, well, I'm kind of not doing it anyway because I'm like thinking about my grocery list, you know what I mean? You like argue yourself out of it. um I also have been very like time traveling. This we like literally like as Mercury's like about to station retrograde, I am just like suddenly like, I think I'm gonna look up like every email my mom ever wrote me and just like read them all. And like what was incredible about that is that I used to write a newsletter back when she um was like getting sick, and she replied every time I ever wrote a newsletter. So
Mhm.
for so many of these, it would be some like reflection of where I was in my life, and then her like loving witness to it. And I've been thinking about it a lot because I started a new newsletter, and I'm trying to get my piece together for to go out next week about how I changed in these last years that Uranus was in my first house. So how I've changed since 2018. And the big theme that I'm thinking about this week is going from the idea that creation is something you do with your life, that you use your life to make these things, would be my old way of thinking of it. And now I'm like, no, you create your life. That is the
Mhm.
creation. That is where you show your creativity, through living in your body day after day and making your relationships and everything else you do in a life. So thank you for this space and for
Oh,
holding it.
I love that, Kate. Thank you so much. Wow. Yeah. And what a beautiful Mercury retrograde thing to look back, right? And see that communication and all that love and support. Oh, yeah. Maybe we should all do that today. Oh, so Darcy.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
So definitely resonate with, I'm going to call it uh, conflicting drives. I went from being hyperfunctional as a 67-year-old with a 35-year career in massage therapy, fell backwards at work and broke my wrist and both bones at my wrist in July. And then my fire started coming back up as I was healing. It was a long process of transitions from cast to brace to surgery to recovery. And as soon as I was starting to recover, I did a deeper dive on ancestral healing, and an hour later fell forward and broke my upper arm. So I've been without my left arm. I'm calling it my disarmament project. To help me resolve conflict, because I've been a warrior for a very long time, and I've been environmental warrior. I've been on front lines, and Spirit had the good graces to take me to the sideline as I'm transitioning into Crohn. So I wouldn't have done it on my own. I would have just kept raging forward.
Mm,
So yeah, so definitely with so much Scorpio, learning a temperance of transition and grace and just accepting support, which I haven't really done in my life. And I'm loving the process. It's really incredible how subtle it gets when we slow down. It's just amazing. I mean, everything takes 5 times as long. And I had no choice in it, which is even better because I'm very strong-willed. So yeah, that's my whole process. It's big, but just wanted to drop in some seeds on grace and transition.
Thank you, Darcy. Beautiful seeds. Yeah, your disarmament project. That's brilliant. I love that you named it. I feel like that is something we can all do is when we're going through things, like give it a story, give it a name. It changes our relationship with the process of it. So thank you for calling that into the space. And it is true when you're aware things take 5 times as long. So I have to leave the house 5 times earlier than I normally would. Ah, yeah. Katie and Dexter say sometimes the universe will bench us in the most ungentle of ways. Yeah. So that's something that I like to do a lot is if you want to join me, do a big like a deep sigh. It's a reset. And I was walking my dog right before we met, and we have this neighbor, and it's like fenced, but then the driveway is open, and they've got two big dogs, like a boxer and like a huge Great Pyrenees. And those dogs charge to the fence line because they are having an audit, like a electric fence. And so every time me and my dog or dogs walk past it, Hilda especially, because she's the anxious one, she always like is like, duh, are they going to be there? Are they going to charge? And she's just anticipating. And most of the time they're not. But today they were. And so they charged, and Hilda's like, what do I do? And it was this whole big, big event, a big emotional event. And then, I was like, okay, we're good. You did your job. Let's keep going. And you know what she did? She shook really hard. And then she was like, all right, cool. Let's keep going. And I love that. Like dogs, animals, our bodies know. We can take a deep sigh. Dogs will shake. We can shake too. But just letting big feelings kind of roll off. So thank you, Hilda, for reminding me of that today. A good sigh is good, is healing. So today I'm going to read from this book that I've been reading from every week, Consolations by David Whyte, The Solace, Nourishment, and Underlying Meaning of Everyday Words. So today's word is beginning. And let's begin. Okay. Beginning well or beginning poorly, what is important is simply to begin. But the ability to make a good beginning is also an art form. Like picking up a new and unfamiliar musical instrument, the first necessary step involves taking the time to get a simple, clear note. Usually, the simple, clear note of forgiveness that comes in allowing yourself the right at this stage not to know anything at all. Beginning anything well involves a clearing away of the confusing, the cluttered, and the complicated to find the beautiful, often hidden lineaments of the essential and the necessary. Beginning is difficult, and our insulating rituals and the virtuoso subtleties of our methods of delay are always a fine, ever-present measure of our reluctance in taking that first close-in, courageous step to reclaiming the happiness of an actually having started. Perhaps because taking a new step always begins from the central foundational core of the body, a body we have neglected. Beginning well means seating ourselves in the body again, catching up with ourselves and the person we have become since we last tried to begin. This radical physical embodiment leads to an equally radical internal simplification, where suddenly very large parts of us we have kept gainfully employed for years, parts of us still rehearsing the old complicated story, are suddenly out of a job. I'm thinking of you, Darcy. There occurs, in effect, a form of internal corporate downsizing, where the parts of us too afraid to participate or having nothing now to offer are let go, with all of the accompanying death-like trauma, where the very last fight occurs, a rear guard disbelief that this new, less complicated self and this very simple step is all that is needed for the possibilities ahead. It is always hard to believe that the courageous step is so close to us, that it is closer than we could ever imagine, that in fact, we already know what it is, and that the step is simpler, more radical than we had thought. We just picking up the pen or the wood chisel, just picking up the instrument or the phone, which is why we so often prefer the story to be more elaborate, our identities to be safely clouded by fear, why we want the horizon to always remain in the distance, the promise never fully and simply made, the essay longer than it needs to be, and the answer safely in the realm of impossibility. I think with that, he could do a mic drop, right? So beginning. Let's take a moment to write in the chat what stood out to you from that, right? From hearing that about beginnings. What resonates? What did you need to hear? So some of your thoughts I'll read as they come in. Jenna says, the prospect sounds terrifying to me, but my motto of progress, not perfection, makes it sound more approachable. Yeah, it is terrifying. I think that's part of the glory, the intrigue is that, you know, there's a kid's book written by Channing Tatum, who's like an unlikely children's author, but it's called Spark Ella. It's a great book if you have kids. And he talks with his daughter about being nerve sighted. And that's their word. It's like nervous and excited, and that they exist together. So it's like when we think of beginnings, it's terrifying because we're really nerve sighted. So I love that. And it doesn't have to be perfect, right? Progress, not perfection. So thank you for sharing that, Jenna. Masha says that starting something can be as simple as picking something up. Yeah. Imagine that. You pick the thing up and you've begun. Darcy says, completely resonant. Thank you. Yeah, good. I needed to hear that there is a letting go first, and that the downsizing leads to a simple truth. And the simple, essential way of being was always there. It's like they say that when Michelangelo was making David, I think, or something, he just took away all of everything that wasn't David, right? Like he found the block of marble and he took away everything that wasn't what he was seeing. And it's like, isn't that it too? Getting rid of the clutter. Just Katie says, just do the thing. Every journey begins with the first step. Fool card, taking that leap without worry that there is ground underneath. That's a great image. Thank you, Katie. Yeah, that is such a fool. That is such a great parallel. Yeah. Beginning well is an art form. Yeah, I was thinking about what Katie shared with the idea that like our life is the like our life is the proof of our creativity. It's like how it shows, and this idea that beginning well is the art itself. Part of whatever it is that we're beginning. It's how we begin it, and that is the creative art. So yeah, thank you, Anna, for remembering that piece. Cheryl says that it is permissible to start again and again and again. Yeah, totally. Yep. Anastasia says, I love David Whyte. What resonates, giving ourselves grace through the process. It's the journey, not the destination. Yeah, absolutely. And that word grace is that word has such good vibrations in it. If we just say grace, grace. Yeah, joyous, making room for new, that it can be as simple as just starting. I feel like it gave me the feeling of jumping off a cliff and trusting that the net is there. Yeah. Alexander, even a small first step is a worthy first step. Yes. Yellow ferret, beginning well or not well, just beginning. That's true. There's that too. You just start. Lynn says, I heard the body that have been neglected for a long while. Topic of beginning is very close right now. I'm encouraged by spirit to look at my future. Yeah, the body part was pretty powerful, wasn't it? That when we begin, it's because to begin well is to be in your body. And that's the place that you move from. You don't leap off the cliff from your mind. You listen into your body. And from that place, you move forward. Yeah. Spoken like a true Aries, Venus, Aries, Mars. The terror is glorious, LOL. That's true. Jenna, you calling out my chart here. Jenna knows my chart very well. So I am what am I? Venus, Mercury, and Aries, or no, Venus, Mercury, and Mars and Aries. But I've got Taurus, Sun, and Moon, so I'm a little grounded. But I do like a good battle. It's true. Simply beginning again and again. It's not just a one-time action. Reminds me of try, fail, try again, fail better. I haven't heard that one. Thank you, Miriam. Fail better. Yeah. There's that like grace again. Thank you. Amanda says, wanting the horizon to always be off in the distance. I'm sure I read this somewhere, but a question I often consider is the hesitation coming from a fear of failure, or is it the fear of success? The fear of reaching the goal and the uncertainty of whatever comes next. Isn't that a Marianne Williamson quote that like our greatest fear is that we are like powerful beyond measure, that we can actually do all of the things we want? That's great. Yeah. Ren says, honestly, it feels a little too personal. As an ADHDer, I still carry shame from childhood from not being perfect and still getting caught up in the analysis paralysis. It's a reminder to just do. Yeah. Yeah. You've got a few people that are hearting and thumbs upping. Yeah. Because when your brain doesn't work the same as everyone else's, then yeah, there is a lot of shame around that, or unfortunately, like that can be projected onto children. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. And you can just do. Katie and Dexter says, just do the thing. Every journey begins with the first step. So great. Well, thank you all for reflecting on that. And again, this time of year, this transitional time between winter water and spring wood, we're still germinating. So like the beginning, we should be thinking about, but we are not there. It's not beginning time. We've not shot the gun of go. We should be projecting and planning. Like this is the perfect time for planning and preparing, right? Yeah. The cold stratifying the seeds. That's right. Yeah. They need longer. They need that they need that time in the cold to be strong enough, honestly, to be strong enough to survive when they break through. And so that's what we're doing right now. What are you doing? Now, this is my next question for our our self-help sharing or self-care practices. So let's write in the chat box, how are you caring for yourself right now? What herbs are helping? What practices are helping? I know a lot of you are doing the 20-minute meditation that my husband Adam is leading through Nightlight Astrology. So is that part of your self-care? And if you don't know about that, my husband's doing every morning at 8:30 Central Time he's doing a 20-minute sit. So it's like a little intro, 20 minutes of silent sitting, and then ring a bell and you're off on your day. I'll find a link and post that into the chat box if you want to learn, but you don't have to sign up. You just show up. And I think there's like 170 people there. So if you want a container of people that are like doing it, it's a powerful container to sit with. So let's see, what else are we doing? So Katie says motivation doesn't come, and then I do the thing. Motivation comes when I've started the thing. Yeah, that's like my yoga practice. If I fall off of my yoga practice, and I think about I've fallen off my yoga practice, and then I think about starting my yoga practice, but it doesn't start until like day 3 because I peel myself out of bed and I get on the rug. And then on day 3, I'm like, oh no, I'm actually doing the practice. And now my body wants to do the practice and I'm back in the seat. But it is those first few times that are the hardest. Kate says meditation and affirming that I can trust myself. Yeah. Yeah. And right, like in the seed stage of the calendar year and the solar year, this is where the trust is, this is like the most potent place to build that trust is when everything's still in the seed, when you still have that container. Because then when you get out there, there's more distraction. So that's great that you're working that affirmation. Darcy said yesterday, beach walk, meditation, outreach, dream, nature, reflection, snowy plover hatchings, hunkered down on the beach, taking baby steps while camouflaged. Ooh, that is something I want to do. That sounds beautiful. Yeah. And I wanted to read this to you. I don't know if you guys know the work of Stephen Herod Buhner. This is a great book if you want to learn more about what plants are actually doing on this planet, not what we like to think they're doing, but like what's happening. And I wanted to read this book this quote about dreams. I knew it was going to come up, and I was like, okay. So this is written by Sakaya from the Teton Sioux music. So this is from an indigenous people from here, or from the Dakotas, the Sioux people. So this is what Sakaya says. The bear is quick-tempered and fierce in many ways, and yet he pays attention to herbs with which no other animal notices at all. The bear digs these for his own use. We consider the bear as a chief of all animals in regard to herb medicine, and therefore it is understood that if a man or woman dreams of a bear, he or she will be expert in the use of herbs for curing illness. So the dream space, and I think, who is it that shared first? It was Masha, like that liminal eternity space. If we can tap into that when we're dreaming, we can get all sorts of different messages. And the indigenous people from the Americas, the Native American people, and the Aboriginal Australian people, which I had the good fortune of studying with many moons ago, believe that the dreaming was a place where our ancestors and spirits and plant spirits will communicate with us. And so if we can take seriously the power of the dream and the dream space, it's amazing what can come in. And I just want to offer to you that if you have ever once dreamed of a bear, then you carry bear medicine, at least according to the traditions of the Sioux, that if the bear visits you in the dream space, it is showing you that you have this inside of you. And so then you can call upon the bear before you go to bed to teach you more about the plants. So little side note. Okay. All right. What else? I care for myself being present, feeling my body, and take care of my needs. Call friends and not be alone. Pauses and meditation. More sobriety than usual. Kindness to myself. Don't allow myself to be mean to myself anymore. Thank you, Lynn. Yeah. That's some good medicine right there. Thank you. Yeah, more sobriety than usual. I've also been feeling that. Things are so delicate right now. And we need our faculties about us. I mean, the only exception I will say is microdosing mushrooms for like, spiritual use, I think can be something, but that's like micro dosing would be the only thing that I would be like, okay, that I would consider using to help me see more of maybe the subtle threads I'm missing. But in this moment in time, with 0 degrees, with this, what is it, Saturn and Neptune at 0 degree Aries, there's so much new information coming in. It's kind of like I want to be here for it. I want to see it with my own eyes. Masha says, I've been doing Adam's meditation for the past few weeks and a movement practice, Pilates or yoga afterward. I've been taking one short walk in addition to that. I have also been drinking a lot of milk oolong and chrysanthemum teas, but I want to incorporate more yin nourishing and menstruation supporting herbal teas. Oh, that sounds lovely. Yeah. Yeah, yin. Like we're still yin, right? So whatever practices and foods and movements and conversations and spaces that nourish the yin, the reflective, the moon energy inside of us. Yeah, I love that. Joyous prayers before sunrise and going to sit with a ginkgo tree. Oh, lovely. Waiting for that first leaf and letting myself slowly come back to life as well. What a tough year it was. Yeah, that snake year. Lots of shedding, right? Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Joyous. Anastasia, I've joined Adam's daily meditations for 3.5 weeks now. It's been such a blessing to have the practice in the community. Also taking breaks throughout the day, just sitting down, taking a few deep breaths, tuning into my body, pausing the doing and chaos for brief moments. Also taking moments to savor the beauty of my plants and the pleasure of snuggling my dogs and kitty. Yeah. And that kind of reminds me of one of my mantras. Like I have a few mantras that I live by, and one is tend the living things first, right? When I'm feeling overwhelmed, I look around to what's alive and what can I serve? And if I can pet my dog or give her a fresh bowl of water or like prune the plant that's looking a little sad, or if I can tend the living thing in that moment, then I don't know, it seems to help. So I love that. Anastasia, you're also feeling that. Jenna said mimosa, albizia essence, and soon tincture, as much sleep as I am needing. Okay, let's talk about albizia. I just got a big bottle of it. If any of you, so let me tell you about it. And if you feel like you need this herb, if you'll email me your address. I was given a big bottle from my friends at Five Flavor Herbs out in California as part of the Minneapolis Relief Project. But I have too much of this particular one. So mimosa is the happiness tree, and it has these bright pink, fraggly flowers. And the bark is anchoring for the Shen or the spirit. And the flowers are brightening to the mind and also to the Shen, which lives in the heart and in the eyes. So when our Shen is like lit up, our eyes feel sparkly and our heart feels like, ooh, yeah. Um, and and so the medicine is really good for depression, anxiety, when our life force feels kind of tuned down, seasonal depression, um, because of the absence of light. Um, but it's not depleting. It's not a stimulant, but it's brightening without being stimulating. And it comes in tincture form. So if you can't do alcohol, I do apologize. It's just preserved in alcohol. And you would take I would start with 7 to 10 drops on your tongue in the morning. And if that's feeling good, you could do 7 to 10 drops in the afternoon. If that's feeling good, I personally will take a big squirt in the morning, and it changes my mood for the whole day. So if that's feeling like a medicine you could use, just hit me up. I got your herbs. I'm your herb dealer. happy to send it for free. Okay. What else is Jenna doing? Dynamic neural retraining system. Cool, for my chronic health conundrum. Yeah, so Jenna has been living with mold. She had a mold incident. So she's still recovering from that. And garden planning. Yay. And then silence sits with you all as often as I can. Yeah. Katie and Dexter are cleaning, dusting, purging the house, repotting all the green babies, holding the grand baby who was so cute and juicy, eating like a trash panda and without guilt, all about balance. Katie, you're hilarious. Oh, I love all those things. Yes. Yes. Cheryl, making tea blends as your herbal student and sharing it with people and using it as an opportunity to talk about meditation and spreading the word about the community meditation offerings. Beautiful. Thank you, Cheryl. And I'm glad. I mean, isn't it a gift to share herbs? I mean, it's great to grow them and it's great to know about them. But when you can like share them, oh my gosh, that is good magic. Amanda says, leading my church's rummage sale starting tomorrow through next weekend. Hooray. Self-care is going to look a lot like delegation. Yeah, that's right. Give the jobs to the other people. That is good. That's good medicine. Absolutely. Darcy is working with OSHA root. That's bear medicine. Do you know that, Darcy? Yeah, that's really powerful because the roots kind of are hairy almost. They look like bears, and bears will dig them up in the spring and use them to clear their lungs and clear the mucus from hibernation. So cool. Ren says, honestly, felt a little too personal. Oh, we already read this. There's lots of comments. Okay, cool. Y'all are so wonderful. I love this. I love you all. Serious. Oh. Chinese culture and medicine identify the bear as the herbalist too. There's qigong movements of the bear that grab the berries and harvest the roots. Austin, I did not know that. Thank you. I'm gonna look that up. Yeah, that sounds lovely. I know the bear. This is something of a bear, which I do a lot in the mornings. Masha sat Vision Quest under a mimosa tree. Oh wow, nice choice. Geraldine has been making some indoor plant babies, jade, spider plants, and soon repotting aloe. It's a good reminder. We should be repotting. Yeah, before spring, before the big expansion. Now would be a great time, especially on the new moon, right? Or the waning moon when the energy's still going down. Because then when the light starts to build, and then it'll pull the energy back up. So, what moon phase are we in? Can anyone tell me? Who's got their finger on the moon dial? Almost full. So maybe after I mean, you could do it now. Like honestly, if you have it today, if you have time today, do it. But like if you're doing it, by the moon phases, it would be yeah, as it's waning. So for whatever that's worth. Okay. Seeds now. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. I want to make sure we have time for a plant spirit card pull. So I'm going to shift gears to that now. Don't worry about postage. I've got your postage, okay? Let me treat you to the postage. Okay. Unless you, I think there are a lot of countries though that are not receiving, oh no, they're not sending mail to the US because our government is full of a-holes. I don't blame them. It's like, we're not going to send stuff to you, to your country. Charge us that much. Okay. That is not, we're not talking about that. Cancel, cancel, clear. Okay. So now we're going to pull a card that is going to be reflective of what it is we need to hear. This might be a plant card that is something we could take, but it might also just be more of a symbol of a plant energy that will give us some clarity for where we need to be now. So let's do this. So what plant spirit would be helpful for us right now? What plant spirit would be helpful for us right now? What plant spirit would be helpful for us right now? Pomegranate, fertility. Hold on. Let's come in slowly. Do you see her? There's the beetle down below, the flower, the pomegranate fruit, and the number is 7. It's a good number. And the card symbolizes fertility. So let's read about that. I always like to start with the poem, and this is from the Flower Speaks deck by Marlene Rudinsky. Ancient mother, your blood is an endless river, gently streaming through my veins, flowing fast to my dream in a timeless embrace of trust. Within the ocean womb of life, we are deeply connected, my cord to yours, your womb in mine. Twin rivers bleeding through the Milky Way. Ancient mother, river mother, I drink deep your love, like the sweetest wine on a long hot day, and dance to creation in the mystery temple of my womb. So let's read a little bit more. The zodiacal sign attributed to pomegranate is Cancer, which rules the mammary glands in the stomach. These are the body's physical sources of nurturing a new life. Cancer is ruled by the moon, the feminine nurturing matrix out of which all life arises. Our blood is similar in chemical composition to ocean water. What colors it is the active force of Mars, which resonates in the flower through the red vibration. The essence of the flower is truly the blood of the primal mother that flows through our veins. These primal waters are the essence of nourishment for the planet and help develop the nurturing qualities in humans. So this is called the Flower Speaks deck. It is out of print, but you can find it on eBay used, should you like. Pomegranate in a spread asks you to make a choice as to which seeds you want to nurture in your life. You have a strong maternal impulse to create new life. That's the beginning. That's this moment. You know that the Great Mother will support you in nurturing your dreams. Perhaps you are choosing between motherhood or a profession where your sensitivity to the needs of others is highlighted. As an obstacle, you have difficulty sorting out the many seeds or dreams that you wish to bring into creation. Choices may prove to be a source of conflict because there is a deep fear that you will not be supported and your emotional needs will not be met. Perhaps it is because you've had a difficult time nurturing yourself. You may be too busy caretaking others and not getting your own needs met. Pomegranate asks you to trust that you are loved by the Great Mother, and she will help you in nurturing your dreams. Imbalances in the nurturing impulse sometimes lead to infertility for some women. Women may be in conflict about their role, and they may be insecure around the feminine role. Men may also be in conflict as to how to express their maternal impulses. So I think this piggybacks a lot on the idea of water, like the seed moment. Which seeds are we going to nurture? This idea of beginning and how we begin and trusting. I think that the Fool card that Kate and Dexter brought up, this card is saying you will be supported, that the Great Mother, the Divine Mother has your back, right? Like just do it. But not today. Like wait a little bit. But that thing is the thing that you should do. You could take it as a flower essence. You could certainly eat the fruit, but if you want to take it as a flower essence, this is what it does. Pomegranate flower essence helps balance the male and female qualities in people. It connects us more closely to the love that is the primal source of life. It develops the nurturing impulse as well as creates an awareness of the need to be nurtured. It helps them become more fertile, increases blood flow to the sexual organs. Disturbances in the sexual chakra are brought into balance. Good for the moon in Capricorn, Mars in Cancer, hard aspects to the sun and moon. So the affirmation is, I trust that the Great Mother Goddess will nurture all my needs. I allow my dreams to be nourished. Goddess was with us today, y'all. Seriously, that was amazing. I am so, wow. So thank you all for bringing your energy. The other book that I read from was The Lost Language of Plants by Stephen Herod Buhner. The first one I read was from Consolations by David Whyte. If you would like some mimosa, email me at info@skyhouseherbs.com. You can also go to my website, skyhouseherbs.com, and fill out the contact form. Just make sure you include your full address. And if you live in another country, include all the bits, because every country is a little different. And I will try to get those off to you sometime next week. Let's take a moment of integration. I know we're running a few minutes late, and I really try not to do that, but we can't close the container without a close. So let's take a moment to close our eyes. Let's bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Find that deep, slow, nurturing breath. Let your body be the container for everything, every single thing. And know that you have the capacity to let go, to prune, to clear, to cleanse the things that are no longer useful. Let's take a deep breath in through the nose. Big sigh out through the mouth. A little hill to shake. So thank you all. So grateful for you being here for this time. I love seeing your faces and the expressions and just like it's just lovely. So have a good rest of your day. Take the medicine of the Divine Mother, of pomegranate, of beginnings, of the bear, the Fool. Take it with you. And I hope to see you again next week, and we'll just see what turns up. We'll see what happens. Okay. Thank you all.